Hello, welcome to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Holly Whitfield from the Daily Memphian. I'm here with bar manager and master mixologist Hunter Coleman. You may have seen him crafting elaborate tinctures and magical potions, or just pairing and pouring great wine at Bari in Midtown. Welcome, Hunter. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This week, we're going to talk about Bari's now way old news, big move down the street a few years ago. Bartending in 2025, how Hunter comes up with the amazing craft cocktails that he makes, and of course, what we're eating and drinking, what Hunter's eating and drinking when he's not serving other people. First, you know that I have to tell you that Soundbites is the Daily Memphian's weekly food and dining and drinking podcast. Please listen on WYXR Radio Thursdays at 11, or hook it up to iTunes or Spotify. You can also just listen streaming at dailymemphian.com. Go to food, then go to Soundbites, and you can listen to all of our episodes there. If you are listening on WYXR now, keep doing that, because up next you'll have the Daily Memphian CEO Eric Barnes and his Sidebar Arts and Culture podcast. But let's get going. Hunter, thank you again for being here. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. If they haven't had the pleasure of meeting you at Bari or on some of your special new gin videos you're going to tell us about, who are you and where did you come from?
Let's see. My name is Hunter Coleman. I'm a Memphian. I love to eat and drink, and so it's like kind of a perfect world for me to be in. Yeah,
you went to University of Memphis, and then you started, and now you've been at Bari. I've been at Bari for about almost 20 years.
Wow. Yeah, I know. It's a really fun spot. I never worked at a restaurant where you like enjoy the people you work with. Mm-hmm. You know, I hate to say this, but it is like a little family. And they kind of let me just do what I want to do. You know, they let me just go crazy, which is fun.
Well, I've had the pleasure of sitting at the bar and having many great meals with you and with the other team at Bari. If people don't know, and it's so weird to do this because I feel like people know by now, Holly, but I run into this every time I bring it up. Bari was in Overton Square. Now it's moved down the street 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, roughly about 4.5 years ago. I mean, we're just like a stone's throw away. Mm-hmm. I know it's like just a block, but it feels like a whole different world. Yeah. We actually have parking. Yeah. My bar is twice the size. Yes. Kitchen's bigger. Dining room's bigger. Yes, the patio. And we have like a new little area out front where it's just for cocktails. The bar's ever too full. You can go sit out there and relax. There's nice sunshade. Outdoor lounge. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
Yeah. So if you're still not placing that, it's at Peabody and Cooper, across the street from Slider Inn. Also, congrats. You won Best Bartender according to Memphis Magazine a couple months ago. Is that the first time you won that? It seems like.
Yeah, actually. Really? Yeah, it's the first time I ever won. I've been on it before, but usually like second or third. I didn't even know it was going on, honestly. If I would have known, I would have voted for myself. But, yes. You know, it's just really nice. It's an honor, you know, to have people think of you when they think of bartenders and cocktails. You know, it's a nice feeling.
And I have the whole experience. Last week on Soundbites, I talked with Gina Neely because she's the VIP special host for the Smoke Slam barbecue competition that's going on this week. But one of the things that I didn't expect me and Gina to get into, but we did, was cocktails, because she is a big craft cocktail fan, and she had this whole spiel about like, this is what a craft cocktail is. You have to make your own simple. You have to make your own all of this. And I'm like, I feel like that's the bare minimum baseline for what a craft cocktail is. So she was talking about the different glassware and all this stuff, and I was like, you know Hunter at Bari, right? Like, because when I think about the way that she was describing that cocktail experience, there's several Memphian bartenders I think about, and you're top of the list. Okay, I want to go back a little bit though. When I did your introduction at the beginning of this episode, I was like, bar manager, master mixologist, and I was kind of laughing to myself. What do you want? Like, what do you want to be called? What's your title? Because we had bartenders, and then suddenly we had mixologists, and I feel like people have strong feelings about that.
Yeah, I do. I have strong feelings
about that. Let's get into it.
So, I definitely prefer to be called a bartender or barman. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that call themselves mixologists can be a little pretentious.
Sure.
And, you know, you can call yourself a mixologist all day long and putting buttons on your apron.
Yes.
But like, it's a lot more than that. Like, I take what I do extremely seriously. Like, I try to study what I do for a living every single day, at least an hour or two. That's one reason why I love Bari, because I have that bartender's choice option and people just tell me what they want and I can kind of go crazy from there.
So if I came inside of the bar and I was like, what's the bartender's choice? I want to order that. How would that go?
I would ask you what your favorite spirit is, what you want your base to be, what you're in the mood for, any flavors you like, any style of cocktails you enjoy, earthy, refreshing, bitter, kind of get an idea of what you would actually enjoy.
So if I said, I'm finally getting into gin, I'm looking for what apparently they call in Europe a long drink. So just something like tall and refreshing. Maybe it has ice, maybe it doesn't. I don't want it to be sweet.
Oh yeah, I'm not a monster. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And that's all I can get out. You'd be able to take that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I prefer, honestly, because if you ever want a sweet drink at Bari, you're going to have to ask me for one.
Right,
because
sure.
I try to keep the sugar out so you can taste the quality spirits we're using. Because if you add a bunch of sugar to something, you're not going to be able to taste all the ingredients in it. You're not going to have a balanced drink. And a good drink is a balanced drink. You want to taste the same from top to bottom, even with dilution of the ice. And there's ways around it. You just kind of have to experiment, work around, and figure it out. There's so many fun little spirits out there that no one has really ever heard of in the mainstream. So I'll sit there and scream and yell about amaros and all these other random liquors for hours. I feel bad for the guy I work with, because if someone asks me, what's amaro? He knows I'm going to be out of pocket for at least a good 10, 20 minutes.
I'm going to keep that in mind here in another 5 minutes, because I definitely love amaro when I talk to you about it. But I've used gin as the example because I want to talk about your partnership with Waymar Gins, and that's something else you're doing, sort of aside from what you're doing with Bari's, kind of, can we say side gig or side project?
Yeah.
With that?
Sure.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So Waymar is a local gin company started by two brothers. During COVID, they actually started it creating it in their garage via their still.
Classic.
Yeah. It always tastes better when it's sketchy liquor, No, but it's really good gin. They came to the bar and started talking to me about gin, and anyone that knows me knows that's another long conversation. And they asked me if I'd be interested in working for them, and I jumped on it because I love this field, and doing something on that side of it is really neat. Being able to create things for everyone to try, not just the people in Memphis. It's really, really fun, and it's really good gin. I keep it in my freezer all the time.
So you're the real deal. You're not just sponsored.
No.
Of course not. I don't think that you could go this in depth into something without having a true passion for it, whether it's a specific gin or just making cocktails.
Yeah.
The general.
Cocktails are fun. The way I always look at it is it's history, it's chemistry, and it's gastronomy. All things that I absolutely love. Pretty much every liquor or every cocktail has a really good story. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I'll just choose to accept it because they're really good stories.
Yes.
And it has a rich history, such as amaro, been around since the Romans. It's been medicine since up until I'd say the 50s. And it's most people don't even know that. They just think of it, it's a liquor.
Yeah.
No, there was a purpose for this stuff back in the day. And the reason all these amaros are so different is because it really kind of try to use what is grown in that area. Not always, but a good chunk of the time, that's what they want.
So take it from the top. What is amaro? What's a sort of general range of the flavor profile you're going to get? I know there's dozens and dozens.
So amaro is a digestivo. It's the best thing to have after dinner. If you're ever so full, you feel like you have to be rolled out to your car.
Yes.
You can sip it, shoot it, mix in a cocktail, whatever, and you will feel like $1 million in 10 minutes. You'll be hard pressed to find an old Italian grandmother that doesn't have at least one bottle of amaro under her sink. In case you tell her you're too full to eat, she'll make you drink it and then make you eat more.
You sound like you're sharing this from personal experience.
Yes, actually. So I was in Bari with Jason and Becky from Bari and my wife, and we're having lunch at his aunt's house, and we've been eating like crazy. I ate like half a bowl of her orchetta pasta she made, and I was like, there's no way. And she like puts her finger up and walks over to underneath the sink, grabs an amaro. I was like, oh God. So I drank that amaro, then I ate some more.
Then you did. You did what you had to do.
Yes.
So what does it taste like?
So amaro, it kind of ranges pretty from all the extremes. You know, you're going to find some that like are going to be way more earthy and, you know, kind of taste like a bark almost. And then you're going to find some that have like one of my favorites, Amaro Montenegro, 44 different botanicals. The different types of orange in there add so much cool flavor to it. And it is like a perfect modifier for cocktails. Like I wrote an article about Amaro a couple months back for Edible Memphis. And it was, I gave one of my special recipes for this drink I call the Professional, where it's just your basic Manhattan.
Okay.
With high quality ingredients. And then you add a little bit of Amaro Montenegro to it, give it a nice stir, a little bit of orange oil on top, and it is so good. I have many different variations of it now.
Of course, yes.
So yeah, it's kind of gone from the Professional to the Professional on Vacation, the spring summer one. There's the one I have on the menu right now, the Professional in Reverse.
Yes.
Where it's more Amaro and vermouth and a little bit of rye.
Yes.
It's so good because we use really, really good quality vermouth, and that's something that I think is getting way more popular now. Vermouths are getting very big. I'm here for it because people always think of vermouth as just something you add a little bit to in a drink.
Yeah,
but
or you like pretend to add it even. Yeah.
So, you know, I was very fortunate and like I was able to travel growing up. My parents always said that travel, you know, is one of the best educations you can possibly get. And I totally agree with it. And you'll notice all these things as I remember when I went to Italy the first time, I learned that, you know, the Italians literally have a liquor for everything. You go to dinner and you're not hungry yet, you have an aperitif, like an Aperol Spritz or a Negroni, and that gives you an appetite. When you eat too much, pull out the Amaro.
Yes.
You know, I've even been told they have something called an anti-coffee.
Okay.
And that is just like a double shot of grappa. It's kind of mean.
You right to
it'll knock you out.
Sleep in a mean way.
Yeah, in a mean way. In a terrible way.
One time you made a drink for us when I came to Bari that was a gin and tonic with sfumato.
Yes. So good.
Remind me the details, because this is very self-serving. We've been making that drink at home now with the gin and tonic, and then we just add a little bit of the sfumato and lemon, not the lime. Is that right? What am I missing?
Yeah.
You don't have to reveal all your secrets, but would you?
Yeah, no, that'll totally work. So I know the exact drink you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to make that for a lot of the staff, including myself, but it's kind of cool. So I learned a neat little trick while making the original drink of that. It was started off as an Amaro daiquiri. Sfumato, Northern Alpine Amaro, gin, and lime. And you just shake it up. When you shake it real aggressively, there's natural protein that is in the Amaro. And what you do is called a Japanese style shake, where it's kind of a rhythmic, really hard shake. You just shake the hell out of it, really.
Yeah.
And it creates this crema, and the crema absorbs the citric acid from the lime and the herbs from the Amaro. So it has that kind of like little foam on top. It's really, really good. But yeah, that was just Mediterranean tonic in there as well.
That's the thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mediterranean tonic is my favorite style of tonic because it's just light and refreshing, not as much quinine bite. It's real good.
Thank you for that. I like to give people examples on this podcast, whatever we can. You were talking about vermouth and trends, and I know you were telling me earlier you keep up with all the cocktail trends, which I'm super overwhelmed anytime I try to look that up. I know we've got the lower alcohol trend going on. You talked about vermouth. Just riff on that. What's cool now to drink? Anything you want, I understand, is the real answer. But I'm always interested in what everybody's making and why it becomes so popular. I mean, espresso martinis came out of nowhere some years ago. Now everyone on earth is doing an Aperol Spritz.
Yeah,
there was all
true.
of that. What else is there, though?
Yeah. See, that can get me on another rant there.
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
So I have a huge pet peeve when it comes to bartenders that don't love what they do. You can kind of tell in the process of them making a drink. Like when you make for instance, when you make an Aperol spritz, people that pour the liquor in first are monsters. That's not the way to do it. You put your bubbles in first. I don't even use soda water. I just use, put my glass, fill it with ice, 4 ounces of Prosecco on the bottom of the glass. Don't just slosh it in there, do it nice and slowly so it doesn't, break as many bubbles. And then you take whatever spirit you want, whether it be Campari, Aperol, a mix of the two, and then pour that on top. Leave the soda out. We already add the extra ounce of Prosecco. It's going to be better, more boozy, and not as watered down. But it's kind of a weight issue. So if you put the liquor at the bottom and you try to stir it, it's still going to sink back down to the bottom. And also, if you stir it, that's going to kill all your bubbles. Because when you stir, that creates a centrifuge. Centrifuge brings in oxygen. Oxygen kills bubbles. So what you want to do is lift it. Just lift it 3 times straight up. Don't let the ice swirl around, and you'll notice a huge difference. You can do that 3 times, and it works perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, do it that way. Everyone, do it that way. No, the spritzes are a big deal. I recently discovered the Select Spritz, which is just
Venetian style.
Yes, it's just instead of Aperol, you're using a different spirit, and to me it's more balanced. It's less bitter. It's kind of perfect.
You know who makes that spirit, don't you? Amaro Montenegro. The same company makes it, so you get that cool little orange flavor in there, like the green orange and the bergamot in there. Really, really neat stuff. But yeah, that's like a classic spritz. Like that little slice of orange or a wheel of orange, and if you cut it real thin and you kind of slide it down the glass, it'll stick to the glass like it's glue. It's kind of cool.
It looks pretty in pictures too.
But like that and like a Castelvetrano olive in there, not juice, just the olive, And the Castelvetrano olives are a lot better than using like your typical Spanish olives with the pimento in there.
No.
Those are like highly processed. Like the ones I use at Bari or the Castelvetranos. I even use the Castelvetrano olive brine in the martinis. So it's just like way better quality, not as much junk, no chemical, no nothing. It's just pure.
And when you bite into the olive, it doesn't make that horrible squeaking feel.
Yes,
That's what I just like about olives, until I actually had some good olives. Okay, trends. What else? What's coming down the line for us? What are we all going to be ordering this summer?
Well,
if we follow trends, or if we get curious about trends, which is my experience.
Oh yeah. So lychees is always a big thing.
Okay.
It started a few years back and kind of made a resurgence. It's getting quite popular now. They have a couple different liquors you can get now that have that in there. My wife keeps harassing me to make this carrot margarita. Carrot margarita? Yeah. It has a natural sweetness in there that'll curb the citric acid of the lime juice. So you don't have to add, any simple to it. And if you're doing that, you can use a really nice high quality tequila because, like I said, you added sugar, you can't taste it. So why even do it? But, yeah, it's really cool. Let's see. You'll see a lot more vermouth-based cocktails, like my reverse cocktail. You see a lot more of those. Like I was making reverse Vespers last night. A little more Lillet than anything, and it was so
is that
good.
A little bit less, like a lower ABV? That's kind of going along with that trend of people.
It's a lower ABV drink. You'll definitely see a lot more alcohol-free products coming out. Like one of my favorite companies, St. Egregious, they make really good quality mocktail stuff, but they also had some really nice alcoholic stuff. But I've been told that they are like exiting out of that and just sticking strictly to the mocktail stuff. Because they got some wild stuff. Like they brought me a phony mezcal Negroni the other day, and I gotta say, it was probably one of the best ones I've had.
Phony Negroni.
Yeah. And the Amaro Falso. They're all really fun.
That's funny.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
I like the name.
There's some cool stuff, I've been messing around with a lot of like random cordials and syrups, like my beet cordial I made for the last menu. I still have a little bit saved in my freezer. It's really fun. It has kind of like an earthy brightness. So you'll see a lot of that coming out. as you know, tequila and gin are probably the most popular spirits.
Right.
I mean, bourbon's up there as well, but most tequila just want bourbon. They just want it on the rocks.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not much work for me to do. So it's like, all right, here's your drink.
Yes.
Here's your 2 ounces.
Well, how is it being like in front of the camera and doing videos and making the cocktails now? I mean, you're kind of always in a way, not performing, but people are watching you, you know, when you're doing your day-to-day job. But now you're like doing Instagram videos.
Oh, no,
How is that?
Yeah, it's fun, actually. You know, like I said, like I love ranting about what I do for a living, and that's just another medium to do it in. Such, you know, just as like this podcast. You know, I love this. So any way for me to talk more about stuff that I like to do, it's great. Like I mean, honestly, I wish I could do some more intense, crazy, weird cocktail videos, but I don't want to make anything too difficult. But I think I might just do it anyway, honestly.
You should just do it anyways. People can just watch it like for aspirational purposes or just being interested. They don't necessarily like have to go make it, you know?
You're right.
I give you permission also because I want to see it because I think it would be fun. Okay, so when you're not serving others, where are you going out for you to have a sip or something good to eat in Memphis?
Let's see.
This is the recommendations portion of Sound Bites, basically.
Well, unfortunately, I work in a restaurant, so I'm off on Sundays and Mondays.
Right.
So there's not too many options.
It's true.
But I do really love Good Fortune. I really like their cocktails. They don't have a ton on their menu, but they do an excellent job of what they do. And the food is just fantastic. Like every time I've gone there and eaten, I've just been so happy when I leave.
Yeah, if they're definitely like a quality versus quantity. And I don't mean portion sizes necessarily small. I just mean, like you said, like some places have more on the menu than you want to read in an evening. They don't. They keep it tight.
Yeah. So I really, really enjoy them. I love going to Erling's and sitting in the bar room just because you have the option of the 2 menus, you know. It's really nice. I love that place.
I haven't been there in a long time. Yeah, geographically. You have to cross like the Bering Strait into far east Memphis, and that can be hard.
I mean, I would say that place holds a special place for me, Erling's, because I remember it was my anniversary. It was the very last night you could go out before they closed everything before COVID.
Oh, no.
And my wife was like, we were all kind of concerned, like, should we even go out? Is this stupid? Is this dumb? And I was like, if we don't do this now, we won't be able to do this for who knows how long.
We don't know what's going to happen.
So we went, balled out, had a great time. I love that place.
At home, are you cooking at home? Family cooking at home? What are y'all making?
So I do all the cooking at the house. My wife she doesn't like to cook, and I love it. I also make the drinks too, so it works out nice. So I mean, I don't know. I cook pretty much anything at the house, like whatever I'm in the mood for. But there's always a lot of fun stuff I like to play around with. My wife loves a martini, so I can make her a martini like that, no problem. I like to make myself a little more interesting things sometimes.
Sure.
You know, like I said, there's always something going on in my refrigerator that I need to test out.
Project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just goofing around making limoncello or basil cello.
Basil cello.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
Okay. What if we put those two together somehow? Just lemon basil sounds good. You're making me thirsty, Hunter, which is just fine. That's kind of what I want this whole thing to be about. I'm gonna talk about beer for just a second, just because this is my opportunity to riff on this with you. I feel like we've been on a roller coaster with beer, and I don't know if it's just because I've only paid attention to this in the last dozen years, or if it's always this way. But I feel like first when we started doing craft beer, by we, I just mean like, I don't know, breweries in the U.S. Craft beer that was like, what was the one that was like the death note? And it was like 9% ABV, and it came in like a black bottle. And they were all like that, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were all like, we'll suck your blood. Like, this is going to blow your face off.
Assault you with alcohol.
Assault.
In your beer.
yeah. Assault the drink. Horrible. I mean, some of that like had some good taste to it, but then we kind of, at some point, and maybe pandemic was part of it, it was like Seltzer Town. It was time to do the White Claws, the High Noons. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's happening now. I feel like now are we doing more Pilsners and lagers, and people are just kind of like, I just want a beer that tastes like a beer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I'm seeing.
I definitely think you're right. I will say I have noticed a lot less pale ales nowadays, which I'm which I like a pale ale, but there was too many. There was way too many. Let's just be honest. Like
too much of a good thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite beers. Like I still have 4 of them saved. They're probably not any good, but Wiseacre did this thing called Unicornucopia. They do one like every year.
Yeah.
But it was year before, well, the last, not the one they have currently, but the one before. Mm-hmm. And like that's, I think about that all the time. I'm sitting there, I look at it in my pantry. I'm like, should I put this in the fridge? Will this be bad? Or should I just leave it here so I can just remember how good it was?
Yeah. What does it taste like?
It was like it was hard to describe, honestly. It was like, it kind of reminded me of like you put Aperol and Campari in a beer.
Whoa.
And
yeah,
I'm all about it. It was fantastic. I think about it all the time.
Well, I know Wiseacre just won best light beer at Skydog Lager at the Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And it's really good beer.
Yeah. I like seeing that. I like a pale ale as well, but sometimes it's nice to just have something that, isn't going to
exactly
hit you in the stomach.
Like I'll go to Wiseacre and the one downtown just so I can get some Little Betty.
Oh yeah, that pizza. That's good stuff. All right, we'll put that on your list of official recommendations too. You are listening to the Daily Memphian Soundbites Dining Podcast with me, Holly Whitfield from the Daily Memphian. We are talking with expert bartender Hunter Coleman. If you are listening on WYXR, keep listening for the sidebar with Eric Barnes after this. If you're listening through your podcast app, go ahead and subscribe. We have some really great Memphis and Mid-South, just people who are passionate about food and dining, whether it's barbecue or craft cocktails like today, food trends, or we're really getting into stuff like, are all the restaurants closing? They're not. That's great. So just subscribe and let us know what you think. Let us know if you have ideas for guests or something that you want us to talk about on the podcast. That's really about all the time that we have. Hunter, was there anything else you wanted to make sure that we knew, or if people want to see more from your recipes and your work, how they can do that?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I'm at Bari Tuesday through Saturdays every week. Yeah. And my Instagram, always put new cocktails, new little bar specials up there.
And that's Bacchus.
Yeah, Bacchus at Bari.
With underscores.
Yeah.
I will link that in the story about this episode on dailymemphian.com. Thank you so much again, Hunter. Always love to nerd out with you about cocktails and hear about your latest adventures. And maybe we'll have you back to talk more about some fall drinks in the fall.
Sounds fun.
How's that for a teaser?
I got stuff.
All right. Thank you again. Bye, y'all.